Morning, folks. Happy Wednesday. Everybody survived that thunderstorm that we had. A little scary. The power went off at my house last night, so I'm just glad to be here finally. Clearance, for some reason, the power is sketchy in some areas, so glad to make it in this morning. We have an esteemed guest this morning who is going to take all the time that he needs to talk to you today. I'm going to welcome Mr. Tom Hobart. For residents, of course, know Mr. Hobart as their head of the resident council, or chairperson of the resident council. Come on up, Mr. Hobart. I will leave the mic right here for you.
Well, thank you, Rob. As Rob said, I'm the chair of the council. I've been chair of the council since January. We have one-year terms, and I'm going to talk to you today about elections, not the Biden-Trump elections, but about the elections for the resident council. The council reports to the Residents Association, and as you know, we haven't had a meeting for since February. Rob and I have talked about how to have a participatory meeting for over 100 people, and there's no safe way to have one. So the council has been acting in your behalf. But now it's time to have the elections, and let me tell you a little bit about the council. The council is an advisory body, and I think we all want that. We have each one of us has a large financial interest in Canterbury Woods, and we want to have Canterbury run by competent, school-trained, and experienced administrators, and Rob and his staff does it. But he does allow us to give him advice on things to do, and to talk about what is going on at Canterbury. The council follows the bylaws of the association, and also it follows the regulations that were in the handbook that you received when you first came in. The council is led by officers who are elected by the continuing members and newly elected members, and that is for a one-year term. The duties of the council, according to the bylaws, is to support the policies of the sponsor and the management, to encourage the interaction and participation of the residents, to cooperate in the resident activities with the staff and the committee chairs, and to respond to resident grievances, and they meet once a month. The nominations are going to be due by the 10th of October. There's a box right behind the concierge desk, and it has a sign on it, and it says that is for the nominations. So nominate yourself or somebody who has impressed you. The only qualifications are you must be an independent resident, you have to have resided at Canterbury Woods for a year by January 1st of 2021, and the nomination forms were put in your mailbox on September 17th. If you need additional nomination forms, you can get them at the front desk. If there are more than 6 nominees, we will have to have a primary. And if on the 10th of October we find there's more than 6, there will be more information on how you can vote in the primary. The highest vote getters, the 3 highest vote getters will, from the general election, will have 3-year terms, and we have one unexpired term of 1 year, and the 4th vote getter will be the one that will take that. So I encourage you to be involved. I've heard some people tell me, line when we're at the cafe that the council doesn't do anything. If you got ideas on how to make us better, put your nomination form in and come to the council. Thank you very much,
Mr. Hobart, can you just a quick question, can you address how Gate Circle is part of the council and what their process is, if it's similar?
All right. The council is made up of 11 members, of which at least 2 are from Gate Circle. We haven't figured out how to have a general election where people would know candidates from Gate Circle, or people at Gate Circle would know the candidates that are from the Williamsville campus. So what we've done is, for the interim, is that Gate selects 2 candidates and they send them to the meeting to represent Gate Circle, and they participate in all of the activities of the council, but they wouldn't vote on matters that affect the Williamsville campus. And so someday we're going to have just one group and everyone elected. We haven't figured out how to do that yet. They tell me, and this is before my time at Canterbury Woods, that they had problems integrating Lexington. And Lexington had a unique way of participating, but now we're all one. And so someday we will be all one, but at least for this election, it's going to be as I described.
Thank you, Mr. Hobart.
So as Mr. Hobart said, the chair of the resident council has 1-year terms, but I have to say that his leadership has been tremendous through the challenges of this year, and I would be dismayed if he didn't continue and be reelected as the chairperson, simply because of some of the challenges that he had talked about, the communication challenges with the residents and us being able to work through some of those things, and let's hope it gets better. So just a couple of things. I want to clarify, again, we've been talking about dining, and I'm glad that I put it out there to everybody what this plan is last week, and did that so that we could solicit resident feedback and get people used to it and get a good information flow, and that certainly has happened. So just to clarify again, this pod system is going to be up to 4 people. It's not going to be perfect, folks. I've got a lot of feedback to make it bigger, and we may do that, but we have to start somewhere. Excuse me. As you see, if you're following New York State, the New York City area is starting to spike up a little bit. And so these are the things that we have to continue to watch, and they're going to be really the predictors for what we do internally here. I actually was in Queens over the weekend. My sister lives in Queens, and I went out to lunch with her and her husband outside, but I was there. And it's one of those areas that the state continues to watch. So again, getting back to the pods within dining typically are going to be 2, 3, or 4 people. I know that you're providing that feedback to the dining services folks so that we can make sure that we know who people are going to plan on eating with. We can have that information so that when people make the reservations, we know. Even though pods might be up to 4 people at this point, it's only 2 people still at a table. So all 4 people, if it's that big of your pod, will not be eating at the same table. That doesn't mean that all 4 people can't eat at the same night. You can choose to make a reservation. It can be two here and 2 there. So it's a reservation system. The reservations are going to be taken on an ongoing basis, and everybody in the same pod can eat at the same night if reservations are available. It's just 2 to a table. If you don't have a pod, if you're a single person, if you're new to Canterbury Woods, etc., let us know and we will pair you up. with some folks that maybe only have 2 or 3 people. We're doing that as we speak as well. So again, 2 to a table, up to 4 in your pod. We're going to learn from it. We are tentatively planning on the week after next to start this. But again, everything's going to be based upon how the numbers flow and what happens locally with cases and so on. We're currently setting up all the areas, putting the tables in place, looking at the spatial arrangements, et cetera, both here and down at Gate Circle. So again, keep sending me your questions, sending them to dining services. Email me, rwallace@echa.org, as we continue to move through this process. Reiterate, it's not going to be perfect. We want to provide this as an opportunity for our residents to eat inside, and we're going to learn from it with your feedback. Fitness as well. I know that Tracy and Sue are going to be doing fitness classes inside, really spaced out. You have to wear your masks. You're going to have designated spots on the floor where you can't move from. You'll be glued there, hopefully. So we're going to continue to evolve as a community, continue to do it safely, and hopefully continue to stay safe. Here we are, the last day in September of this year, and we still don't have any cases. Haven't had any. So again, I say that as another milestone. Let's continue to make our own luck, and thanks for the residents for everything they do to continue to make your own luck. I thank you, and we'll be back. I'll see you back on Monday.